Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the solar eclipse that we have coming up in Pisces on the 26th of February, and also in general about the second half of the month. Now, I've already mentioned that 2017 is a year of strong fire. We have many planets in the element of fire in 2017, and February in particular is a highlighted month for that. Through the rest of February, we have Venus, Mars, Uranus, Eris all in Aries, Saturn in Sagittarius, 5 planets in fire. That's an enormous emphasis. And that can give us real inspiration. It can be enormously pioneering with a lot of new ideas, new developments, new excitements coming in, new technology coming in too. But it can also, if you think how fast fire spreads, events can be very quick moving, very fast moving. And I think this is going to initiate a period where we see things happening very, very quickly. So we have to be fast on our feet. But the solar eclipse happens on the 26th of February. It happens at 6:58 a.m. Pacific and 2:58 p.m. UK time. And it's at 8 degrees, 12 minutes of Pisces. Now, solar eclipses are like super big new moons, super big new beginnings. So see where 8 degrees of Pisces falls in your chart, because that will give an individual meaning to what's happening here. Is it in your 5th house? There's going to be a new romance for you potentially, or a new creative endeavour. Is it in your 10th house? It's something to do with a new project or even a new job. So seeing where it falls in your chart is very important. And if you don't know where it falls, you can download a free birth chart from my website and then just check out the link to get the tutorial videos from my store, and you can use those every single update I do to get more individual meaning for that "what does this mean for me" question. But new beginnings, very important with solar eclipses, and what any eclipse does is alter the electromagnetic field of the Earth. So the ancient peoples recognised this, and that's why they held ceremonies at this time, because eclipses can act as portals for us. We can get information from a higher level, and there's a sense of divine intervention coming into our lives very often, particularly this one because it's in Pisces, which is to do with the divine. They can jump us forwards on our path of destiny. So they're so powerful for us, quite life-changing very often, particularly if they aspect a planet round about 8 degrees of Pisces. Now, eclipses can only happen close to the nodal axis. So they happen either at the north node end, which is where we're headed collectively, our collective future, if you like, or the south node end, which is our collective past. Now, this one is happening at the south node end, which suggests that something has to be released, something has to be let go before the new beginning can be fully initiated. So again, see where this falls in your chart. Is this your 3rd house of thinking and perception, that some old behaviour pattern or habit pattern of thinking has to be surrendered before the new beginning can fully come in? So very important to see that. Also, before any new moon, but particularly this is felt at eclipses, the 3.5 days before any new moon is a super psychic time. It's called the balsamic phase of the moon, and it equates to that hour before dawn when energies are very subtle, where we feel we can tune in more easily. That is the case for those 3 or so days just before this solar eclipse. So use your dreams, particularly because this is in Pisces, connected to dreams. Use your dreams, use your intuition to tune in and think, what is this new beginning, this new seed I'm going to plant be about for me? So you can set a very clear intention for it. Now, this eclipse is a strong one. It's called an annular eclipse. It isn't visible from the Western world, but it's visible from Eastern South America and Eastern Africa. And it's called annular because it will appear as a ring. The sun will appear almost as a fiery ring around the moon. And hence the term. But it's also the last eclipse we will have in Pisces for 18 years. So if you have any emphasis in Pisces, this will be important, because after this, the nodal axis will shift back fully into Leo and Aquarius, and onwards. The nodal axis always moves backwards. So yes, a very significant time. And the other reason this solar eclipse is so powerful is on the day of the solar eclipse, the nodal axis becomes stationary. It becomes stationary at 3 degrees 20 of Virgo. Now that exactly aspects the royal star. There are 4 royal stars. And this one is a fixed royal star called Fomalhaut. And the symbolism of Fomalhaut is the spiritual teacher. So already we have a sense of the magical and a sense of the divine. That is emphasised by the fact, as I say, it's in Pisces, and we have a whole lineup of planets in Pisces. We have the Sun and Moon, which are always together at a new moon or a solar eclipse, Mercury, Neptune, which rules Pisces, Chiron, the South Node, and the fixed star of Fomalhaut, which will be there long term, obviously. So that's a huge emphasis. Now, Pisces is the sign most associated with the divine. It's about surrender. It's highly creative. It's devotional. It's about forgiveness of self too. It's about acceptance. It's the most egoless sign of the zodiac. So there's a feeling of just giving up the ego, surrendering to a divine intelligence and being in the flow of life. Now it's ruled by ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is connected to altered states. And therefore it is very, very beneficial for us to be in an altered state to fully appreciate this solar eclipse. So find where that altered state, where you lose that sense of time and space. You forget that you're an individual. You just blend with the oneness of life. Does that happen in your meditation? Does that happen when you're in nature? Does it happen when you're near to water? Neptune in Pisces. Does it happen when you're creating something, painting or writing something, meditating? Wherever it happens for you to achieve that altered state, that is a great place, ideally within 12 hours either side of the solar eclipse, the exact time, to really set your new intention and envisage the new beginning, envisage whatever you'd like to achieve, and see it as already done energetically. Because I see Neptune as fifth dimensional. It just has this lack of sense of time and space. It has no boundaries, but it is an extremely fertile place for us to create from. So our intuition is going to be very heightened. So as I say, use your dreams very much at this solar eclipse. The Sun and Moon are tightly conjunct to Neptune, so that's very much about connecting to source, heightening our intuition, heightening our fine perception, whether it's used creatively or spiritually. They're 2 sides of the same coin, really. So really, really quite beautiful. However, it has to be said that there is a very strong polarity potentially at this solar eclipse, because as I mentioned at the beginning, we have a lot of planets in fire, particularly Aries. We have Venus, Mars, Uranus, Eris, all in Aries, and Mars is tightly conjunct Uranus and Eris at 21-22 of Aries. They are square to Pluto at 19 of Capricorn, and they are opposing Jupiter at 22 of Libra. So a very tight T-square happening there. Now, as I've spoken about in the past, Uranus is the planet of awakening, Pluto is the planet of transformation, Jupiter is the planet of higher consciousness. So Mars coming into that T-square can really energize it and ignite it. So we can see many energy shifts, shifts in consciousness, shifts in our state of being, potentially at this solar eclipse, particularly because of that magical sense of Pisces as well. And what adds to this picture is Saturn is tightly on the galactic centre. Saturn's at 26 of Sagittarius. So it's on the galactic centre, which is a massive source of cosmic information. So again, there's the potential to download high-level information at this solar eclipse. However, I think it's also important to say that if I was asked which are the two most unalike signs, I would have to say Pisces and Aries, because Pisces has this just flowing, giving up, surrendering, divine quality, whereas Aries is primal fire. It's, I want to be the best, I want to be the first, I'm a high achiever, I set goals. It's very strong in the charts of entrepreneurs. It has a strong physicality. And again, if I was asked what is the astrological signature for the most impetuous, impulsive, sudden, reckless, assertive, even aggressive action, I would have to say Mars conjunct Uranus and Eris in Aries square to Pluto. So beware of that. Beware of any sudden impulsive action that may be highly assertive, but also because the moon, sun and moon are tightly conjunct Neptune in Pisces, which often doesn't see things very clearly. You can make misjudgments in your assertiveness. You can make misjudgments in your reckless action. So that's why I really recommend, for all of us, that we take a breath, we step back, we just think before we act and plunge in. The very positive expression of this is Eris in Uranus, Eris in Aries is very much the spiritual warrior who fights against oppression and fights against injustice. And that's emphasized by Jupiter in Libra too. So the combination here can be fighting for peace, Pisces, fighting for love, Pisces, fighting peacefully for those things. This has strong echoes of the 1960s when we had, again, another very important Uranus-Pluto aspect, where it's fighting for something. It's being in protest against the powers that be for greater freedom and greater equality. So here I'd really recommend that you become a spiritual warrior, become a trailblazer, become a campaigner for subjects, particularly those associated with peace and love, and fighting peacefully against aggressive action, against war, against angry words from whoever. Never meet anger with anger or fear with fear. We just energize the negative. So I think that's the most positive combination we can have at this solar eclipse, which is really, as I say, quite mystical and quite magical. It has great potential also for manifestation. We have Saturn still in that lovely trine to Uranus, so it's about grounding and earthing our inspirations and ideas. Also remember that we only have one planet in Earth at this solar eclipse. We've only got Pluto in Capricorn, that's all. And because things are going to be so quick moving, I think it would be very helpful for us, particularly if it's warm enough where you live, to sit with bare feet on the grass, bare feet on the earth. Even a few minutes of doing that doesn't just change our physiology in very significant ways, it changes our state of mind and our state of being. Such a simple thing to do, just to benefit from those negative ions, those healing negative ions coming up from the earth. So I'd really recommend you do that at any opportunity, just to feel really grounded when life is moving very fast. You can get a lot of information on that from groundology.com about the benefits of doing that too. So stay in your center, stay in peace, stay in love, and use this amazing solar eclipse to really have a powerful new beginning wherever it's falling in your chart and in your life. And if you'd like more information about my book, my audiobook, my tutorial videos, my monthly newsletter of several thousand words, just check out my website, pamgregory.com or thenextstep.uk.com, and have a fabulous solar eclipse in Pisces. And thanks so much for listening.